started with our first speaker for the evening. We have Ashmit Alag from Transform Design, New Delhi. So I'm going to request our speakers to also share the topic of presentation. May I please invite Ashmit to please come on the stage?
Okay, well, good evening all. I'm going to briefly talk about the psychology of design. In the first instance, I'd like to talk about how we see things. Now, our vision is primarily dependent on our past experiences, and at the same time, how we perceive things to be mentally rather than purely visually. How many triangles are here? How many triangles are here, do you think? Sorry? There's actually 0 triangles, and the law is called the Gustafsson law. Gustafsson law goes ahead and expresses that when there are blank spaces, the mind still bridges up the gap to be able to give us a complete picture. Now, this complete picture might not happen in reality, but it's just an illusion. If we read the top box, for instance, it would usually say stop war, peace now. And if we read the bottom box, it will say stop peace, war now. Now, the importance is that the font is the same, the size is the same, just about everything is the same, but just the way the graphic designer decided to put the different color scheme into it, it changes the meaning completely. So basically, we don't see things the way they are, we see things the way we are. And in everything, that we have perception about ourselves. What is the first thing that we see over here? I would need some answers to be able to move this forth.
Apples.
Apples. So that's because red is a bold, attractive color? Yes? Shoes, yes. So first thing we would like to notice is the red, and then it encompasses into the black. So then the shoes. So which basically commands to red being a bold, attractive color. But if I switch the slide, what's the first thing that you see? The green chairs, isn't it? So we just suddenly land up breaking the rule. Now there are reasons why these kind of things happen. For instance, over here, the vision completely narrows down to be coming onto this. And it just appears that this should be something which is very expensive or elaborate or unique. Well, it's actually just a chicken liver, but the way it's presented, it casts an overcasting name. There are other elements in terms of interior design. And the first one is, for instance, smell. So imagine smelling dosa and sambar and idli and chutney and more dosa and sambar, and we serve white sauce pasta. You would not be able to eat it. The other one would be sound. The sound's extremely important. I'll give you an example. I was in Oxford working through my doctorate, and I was speaking to a professor. Now, when I started speaking, a woman kind of interrupted, and then she started speaking too. Out of respect, I shut up and I pulled back so that she could finish. When she was finished, I started to speak. When I started to speak, she started speaking too, and I just ended up shutting up as a matter of respect. Now, what is not important is what I was speaking. What is rather important is, as I reduced my volume, I have your almost complete attention. That's the way sound works with us. So the more words per minute I would speak, the more distraction it will generate in your mind. And all of this is a matter of interior spaces when we talk about creating experiences. The next one would be temperature. If you look at the screen, this might suddenly give you a shrill. And to bring the warmth back, it'll act as a color temperature. We usually talk about color temperature in terms of lighting as well, and we talk about the blue light and the white light and the yellow light. While the most comfortable color to the human mind is brown, because majority of the food in majority of the cultures is brown. Even if it's red meat, by the time it's cooked, it becomes brown. So our association with brown. Now, we've also heard that green is the color of nature, or nature is green in color, which is a fallacy. Now, this has only been observed less than 5 years ago, that when it comes to indoors, green is not the color of nature by far. If you imagine a green color room, green color walls, it'll probably never remind you of nature. So then they're working it out. This is also built up on the theory why fire exit signs are now green in color rather than being traditionally red. I'm going to show you a room, for instance, which is monochromatic and a little drab, and suddenly when you change color on only 2 things, it changes the depth, which is a matter of perception. Let's get back to be able to show you that hardly anything's changed. The psychology of spaces. The first theory would be the theory of opulent spaces. Now, the theory of opulent spaces states that whenever you enter into a space which you feel is much more elaborate or opulent or richer or powerful or stronger than you are, the moment you enter such a place, biologically, your voice coils drop down. You speak less words per minute. The footsteps shorten up. The voice becomes thicker. The vision also reduces. As a matter of fact, if you're looking at a human being in terms of a plan, the human being will shrink. It can also be achieved with yellow lighting. That's one of the reasons why you would probably never find a fine dining restaurant in white and bright light. Now, a restaurant ambience like this, one just expects that there would be no kids. There would be no loud chatter. The next one is theory of speed lines. If you look at the slide over here, the vision will automatically guide it into this desk right in the center, like an observation or a reception desk, which is a matter of design and which is the intent. But if you want to take the attention away from it, all you have to do is change the ceiling, use the same amount of quantity and volume of material, and completely distract. Now when you look at the image, the vision does not go into the center. Rather, it moves more towards the left and right, makes the space appear to be bigger, versus this, which creates depth. Tree of refuge is another theory which goes ahead and explains that throughout the human evolution, everything and every place that we lived under was bent or curved. The caves were bent, the trees were bent. In fact, there's nothing straight in nature because the earth itself is round. I'm going to quickly show you this value comes with abundance. Of course, the merchandise lands up looking cheap, while it's actually not cheap if you look at the top shelf. And this one. When you generate a vision which is extremely specific, things start looking more opulent automatically. In this particular instance, this is the store design. This is done in San Francisco to collect data from people. And this merchandise on the top left appears to be the most expensive, and merchandise over here, which is against the blue background, appears to be the least expensive. Now, this study was done with over 10,000 people, and the result was 99% accurate, or rather the observation was 99%. That'll be all. Thank you.